welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a real head-scratcher from the world of tech. Why is the biggest name in artificial intelligence suddenly pouring billions of dollars into what might just be its polar opposite? All right, let's get right into it. You've got Nvidia, right? The company that's basically the engine for this whole AI explosion. And now they're making this massive, super expensive bet on quantum computing. You might be asking, what's so weird about that? Well, as we're about to see, these two worlds, they couldn't be more different.
To really get how bizarre this is, you have to hear what Nvidia's own CEO, Jensen Huang, said just a few months back. He was super skeptical in public, basically saying, hey, useful quantum computers? We're talking 15, maybe 20 years away. I mean, his comments actually made quantum company stocks take a nosedive. And yet, literally just a little while later, his company jumps into investment rounds that value a couple of these quantum startups at over $17 billion. So what gives? What changed between that skeptical quote and this giant bet? Okay, so this wild U-turn, that's the heart of our story. To really figure out what Nvidia's playing at, we got to do a quick dive into what quantum computing even is and why some of the smartest people in the field call it the diametric opposite of AI.
All right, so let's talk about why these two are considered opposites. It really comes down to a fundamental conflict in how they approach problems.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. The difference is just, it's night and day. AI systems, like ChatGPT, they're data monsters. They need massive, messy piles of data to find patterns. But quantum computers, one expert put it perfectly, they hate data. They are all about insane precision. They're built to solve a tiny handful of incredibly complex, specific equations.
So how do they pull that off? Well, your normal computer uses bits, right? They're either a 0 or a 1. Simple. But quantum computers use qubits, and here's the mind-bending part. They can be both a 0 and a 1 at the exact same time. This weird trick lets them explore a ton of possible solutions to one single, monstrously hard problem all at once. It's like a massive shortcut that normal computers could just never, ever take.
And if they can crack it, the payoff is, well, it's enormous. We're talking about things that sound like science fiction, like breaking the toughest digital codes we have today in a few hours instead of thousands of years, or designing brand new drugs, molecule by molecule, or even simulating the chemistry inside a battery to create the next generation of EVs. It's a total game changer.
But, and this is a big but, that incredible promise has to face a pretty harsh reality. There's a giant canyon between what quantum could do and what it can actually do right now.
Researchers like Jan Ole Ernest over at Oxford, they're pretty blunt about it. Outside of that code-breaking ability, which is still mostly theoretical, by the way, we haven't really found the killer app for quantum computing. We don't have that one big, game-changing problem that we know it can solve and that we need solving today.
And this really highlights a pattern you see a lot in the quantum world. Deadlines have a funny way of stretching. I mean, take PsiQuantum, one of the companies Nvidia just poured money into. Back in 2021, they were saying they'd have a useful machine by 2025. Well, guess what? That goalpost has moved. Now it's 2027. It's a field where every step forward is incredibly difficult.
Which brings us right back to the billion-dollar question. If the payoff is so far off and we don't even know what we'd really use it for, why would a super smart, super focused company like Nvidia throw billions at it right now? And this, right here, is the most important part of the whole story.
So what is Nvidia's real strategy? Well, it's pretty brilliant, actually. They aren't betting that quantum computers will replace AI or their main business. Nope. They're betting that for quantum computers to even work, they're going to need a whole lot of Nvidia.
And here's the absolute key to understanding this. A quantum computer isn't a standalone box you just plug in. It's a highly specialized processor that is completely 100% useless without a powerful, traditional supercomputer sitting right next to it. So, what does the regular computer do? Pretty much everything else. It controls all the super delicate quantum operations. It's constantly running these complex checks to correct errors and keep the whole thing stable. And then it takes the results from the quantum chip and actually makes sense of them. And guess who builds the best supercomputers on the planet for that kind of work? Yep, Nvidia.
And this isn't just a theory. They're already doing it. They're weaving themselves into the very fabric of the quantum industry. PsiQuantum, they're already using Nvidia hardware. Nvidia also launched its own software platform, Q2Q, which is basically the universal translator between classical and quantum machines. They are positioning themselves to be the one partner you have to work with if you're in the quantum game. I mean, this quote from the chief science officer at PsiQuantum just says it all. Nvidia is doing everything but the quantum computer. Think about that. They're not trying to find the gold. They're selling all the picks, shovels, and dynamite to every single gold miner out there.
But just being the essential partner, that might only be step one. The real endgame could be much, much bigger.
See, by investing in all these different quantum startups, and they all use slightly different tech, some use photons, others use ions, Nvidia gets a front-row seat to the whole race. They get to see in real time which technology is actually working, which one is scaling, and which one is most likely to win.
And all that insider knowledge leads analysts to a pretty stunning conclusion. This whole partnership thing, that's just phase one. Once a clear winner starts to pull ahead in the quantum race, what's to stop Nvidia with its deep pockets and all that inside info from just buying them?
So it all comes down to a question that completely reframes their strategy. This was never about AI versus quantum. It's about using their absolute dominance in one area to quietly take control of the next one. So the real question isn't whether Nvidia will be a part of the quantum future. The question is, are they planning to just power it or to own it outright?